Hi, and welcome to another video from Intensive Driving Courses NI. This YouTube channel is set up basically to offer advice and also sort of recommendations on additional to the training you've already received or are you already receiving at the time. Today's video is going to be about joining and leaving a motorway. Which in Northern Ireland you can only obviously do after you've passed your test. So hopefully there's going to be a few hints and tips that you can watch post-test as well. Just remember, motorway rules will be asked on your theory test, and it is obviously strongly advisable to check the highway code before you head out on the motorway for the first time. Make sure your vehicle is up to the task as well. And the signage system is slightly different on the motorways, which we'll explain, because your direction signs now will be more primarily blue as opposed to primarily green or possibly white on your carriageway system. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off. We're up in the Mollusk area here today, and we're going to be joining the M2 motorway heading out towards Temple Patrick. And I'm just going to do a commentary and basically go on what I see. And as I say, folks, this is designed to be additional help and recommendations from what your instructor's already taught you. Now, it is advised when you use the motorway for the first time, where possible, folks, try it in a quieter time of the week, maybe an evening, Saturday evening, maybe Sunday morning, etc., just so you can get used to the lanes. And obviously at 45 miles an hour, folks, there will be obviously a big difference in speed. The other thing as well, obviously R plates, it is advised on the motorway that you make sure your R plates are well visible. So maybe put an extra one, or make sure it's on the outside of the window, because the tint on windows can be quite strong and traffic may not see the R plates until they're close. So I'm on an on-slip here heading up towards the M2 to join. Some on-slips will have one lane, some will have two lanes. And when you actually get up, what you'll notice before you join the motorway, you'll have a give way line on the right. Okay, and that means we have to give way to traffic already on the motorway. So I'm checking the mirrors, I've got traffic approaching, so I'm going to indicate. Now you can see the give way lines there, and I'm safe to join, so I'm going to slide on, just staying initially there to lane 1. Okay, now depending on the motorway you're on, you could have 2 lanes upwards. Basically your far left lane is your driving lane, then you've got 1 or possibly more overtaking lanes. Your slip road there, as you can see now, is coming to an end, and if you do run out of room, folks, you can stop on the slip road. You don't force yourself on out. Just staying to the left lane, just building myself up to the speed. I can see now that we've got the blue signs. There's the services coming up, and normally you will get an indication of a junction or services 1 mile at least before, and then you'll get a half mile, and then you'll get 3, 2, 1 markers, which we'll mention a wee bit later on. The markers that you can see there just beside the hard shoulder, they indicate the distance and the direction of the nearest emergency telephones, and they also give a junction number as well. So there we're coming up now. We've got a half mile sign warning until the Temple Patrick services. You can see it's petrol, you can see obviously it's food and toilets, etc., and you may get an expect late braking. Then closer to the junction, you're going to get the 300, the 200 and the 100 markers. Basically, it's advised that you check your mirrors and indicate at the 3 stripes, so the traffic behind then has a little bit of time to see exactly what you're doing, etc. Now, depending on the vehicle you're driving, for motorway speeds, could be 4th gear, could be 5th gear, it's whatever is comfortable. So there's the deviation arrow just pointing off there towards the services. And remember, folks, don't leave it too late to leave the motorway. Travelling further up, we're going to see that we've got a reminder just of the motorway number that we're on, and that's probably for people coming out on the services there, just to indicate that they're on the correct motorway still. Warning triangle saying traffic can be merging there from the left. But remember, when you're in the left lane, folks, it's up to other traffic to move. If you want to, for safety, you can move over, but bear in mind, obviously at the 45 mile an hour, you will have a very reduced speed. Okay, so just expect traffic to be filtered in from the side. There's one of the emergency telephones there, and when you pick those up, that will get you through to a control centre, and they will then ask what the issue is, whether you've broken down, etc. Sometimes you'll get phones closer together, but they should be no further than a mile apart, and the direction will indicate on the posts there, the little red and white stripes. So we're going to travel down. We will be taking the next exit off, which will be signposted to Temple Patrick, etc. So we should get a initial direction board 1 mile from the junction. Then you'll get a half-mile one, which we've now got coming up. And then there should be one further down. So obviously if you know you're close to your junction you're going to take, position to the left-hand lane well before it, folks. You're not having to do that sort of late sort of braking. Now we've got the three stripes, so we're going to be checking the mirrors with traffic behind, so we're going to indicate left, show our indications. You can also see the road number there of A57, and on the board as well you can see the junction number there at the black border of junction 5. Some off slips can be quite sort of twisty, so expect to reduce speed early, and again some can be 1 and some can be 2 lanes. So just decrease the speed for the bend. And at the end of the road, I'm going to turn right, so we can see the arrows there. So I'm just going to do a normal procedure over. Still in motorway restrictions there, because we've got the blue direction boards, etc. And then you should see a little bit further up, end of motorway restrictions, which is the bridge symbol with the red line through it. Now you can see your direction signs have now changed to green, illustrating you're now onto a carriageway system. So you can obviously have agricultural vehicles, learner drivers, cyclists, and so on. So I'm just going to do a short drive here, folks, and then we're going to join the motorway again, heading back towards Belfast. So we've got the blue direction signs now indicating from that point on it's motorway restrictions. It's the M2, the same motorway that we were on. So I'm just going to join, and there could be different designs of on slips and off slips at each junction. They're not always uniform. As I say, just be guided around here. National speed, which basically is the default on motorways unless indicated otherwise, or you're on the R restriction. But when you do get to the R plates coming off and you're doing a 70 mile an hour national speed, there is 2 vehicle types on motorways that aren't 70. That is towing, anything over 3/4 of a ton, and large goods vehicles 7.5 tons upward. So again, I'm checking mirrors. I'm going to do a shoulder check as well. Left hand lane's free, so I'm gliding on, building up to the relevant speed. Just remember, with that 45 miles an hour, folks, other traffic will be surprised sometimes that you're going that slow. So Belfast 11, M2 again, and again we've got our strips of hard shoulder to the side. And if you have to use the hard shoulder, folks, keep well to the left. Possibly when you stop, turn your steering in towards the curb, not out towards the carriageway. Emergency telephones, it's still recommended that you use those because it gets you through to the control centre, and they have a very quick and early indication of where you are on the motorway itself. If you were to use your mobile phone, it could be that you don't know who to ring, or if you do ring somebody, they may come to assist you, but they may come up the wrong side of the carriageway. At least when you use the emergency telephones, you have that indication that the controller already knows. So again, we're on a 2-lane stretch. So the right-hand lane beside me is just for overtaking only. Folks, you should always position back to the left if you can make safe progress in the left lane. A lot of people stay on the right hand or the middle lane far too long, and the middle lane, when it goes to 3, actually hinders then large goods vehicles possibly overtaking, because they're not allowed to use the 3rd lane of a 3-lane motorway, and so on if it was 4 lanes or 5 lanes. Motorway traffic, motorway travelling in general can be quite monotonous. Concentration can lapse, so do check your speed regularly, do check your mirrors, keep up to date with what's happening. And obviously, because you're driving sort of long distances at high speeds, possibly you're going to go maybe from various weather types, from wind, sun, rain, and certain times of the year, in and out of snow showers, hailstones and stuff like that. But the main thing is motorway training, motorway driving, etc. It's a different type of driving, so give yourself time to adapt. Don't be forced on by other drivers. A lot of drivers will try to push you on in motorways, and the left-hand lane is the safest, really, until you get into that sort of features, etc. But as you can see, we're on a nice long straight section. No bridges, no junctions here, so as I say, concentration can lapse. Further in the distance, I'm seeing a direction board, and I'm just going to see if that's the one we're looking. The other sign that's coming up there is to do with what type of vehicles can possibly use the hard shoulder, and as you can see, it is 28 plus. Okay, so we're going to be taking the A6 junction 4, which is in a mile. So I'm already positioned obviously to the left-hand lane, but at that mile one, if you were in the right-hand lane for whatever reason, it's advised that you get back over so that it's not left too late. Different than the other side of the motorway, I did get a mile indication marker. I've now got a half mile, which is good. Again, reminded me it's A4, and the roads that you're going to join are possibly the A6 then normally, or the A8 motorway standard for a short distance. Because the A8's a bit of a mixture between motorway and dual carriageway, so the first section there is motorway. We've got our 3 stripes, so again, just checking the mirrors, keeping up to date with who's behind, etc. Going to show an indicator because there is traffic behind that would benefit. Further ahead, I can start to see the deviation arrows. So I'm just going to gently glide, trying to keep the stability of the vehicle. Checking to see if there's 1 or 2 lanes. So there's 2 here actually, so I'm just going to go to the left. And if any traffic wants to come past me quicker, that's fine. Also, I've got a pre-warning of traffic lights. Quite a complex roundabout board. Okay, and I will be taking the first exit off, which is Larne A8. I can see also the speed is reducing. Always treat your red circle like a red traffic light. Start to slow as soon as you see it. And we can see the traffic lights there at red. And now we've got the end of motorway restrictions, and we're bringing the vehicle on up to the red light. Okay, so folks, hopefully enjoyed that short trip just on the motorway with a few sort of hints and tips. Join us again soon for more videos on Intensive Driving Courses NI, and remember to like, subscribe and hit the bell for further notifications.